President Obama insisting that a lack of jobs contributes to the expansion of groups like ISIS. Those comments at the White House summit on extremism drawing criticism. Duncan Hunter, California.
The things that he mentions, like lack of education, lack of human rights, poverty, these aren't the causes of the violence. Those are symptoms of the root cause of what these groups are, like ISIS and Al-Qaeda. They're Islamic at their core. They're a twisted evil Islam, but it's still Islam.
Waleed Phares, Fox News Middle East and terror analyst, author of the book The War of Ideas, Jihadism Against Democracy. And Waleed, welcome back to America's Newsroom.
Thank you, Bill.
What do you think of the explanation? Some would consider it an excuse about poverty. Do you buy it, and does that clarify anything?
That's a 20-year-old explanation produced on campuses here in the United States and in Western Europe. Basically, it's wrong. Because if you take 1 million persons who are frustrated in the Middle East or the Arab and Muslim world, why is it that 1,000 among them becomes jihadists? Why not the other 900,000? Because what has impacted those 1,000 is an ideology. So there is no direct link between frustration and becoming a terrorist. The link actually is if they are indoctrinated, because others go do demonstrations, seek for a job. It's only those who have been indoctrinated who become terrorists.
Why then, and what explains why the administration would cling to this explanation? Who would be behind that? What would be behind that, do you believe?
Well, all administrations since the end of the Cold War have been influenced by, I think, a defective advice coming from academia, from campuses, where you have this neo-Marxist interpretation. Everything has to do with the economy, correct, but they have missed the fact that there is an ideological link. But more important to me is the influence and pressure coming from what I call the Islamist lobby, the Muslim Brotherhood lobby, the pro-Iranian lobby, who have no interest in having the United States fighting the war of ideas. Why? Because what will happen to them is what happened in Egypt. You're going to have a popular majority moving against the Islamists, and that would destroy the argument that the majority are with
You're
Islamists.
making the case that those groups have the ear of the White House, and that's why they explain what they do and they have the policy they have?
It's open information. I mean, there's nothing secret about that. Look at what these groups are saying when they visit the White House or the State Department, or how they influence academia. And if anybody criticizes their argument, they will accuse them of Islamophobia. It's an old war of ideas going on here in Washington, not just in the Middle East.
Two more points, Waleed. You hear the president repeatedly say, we're not at war with Islam. Now, have you heard Americans say we are at war with Islam? In other words, who's talking like that which would lead the president to say that repeatedly?
If you take the agenda and the platform of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the major formation in the United States, nobody, not even in the media, in the mainstream media and non-mainstream media, is saying that we are at war with Islam. What is happening is that the United States is in confrontation with jihadists. I mean, there are Muslims at war with the jihadists. I wonder why the administration is not even using the narrative used in the Arab world. What Egypt and Jordan and Saudi and Al-Azhar, the Vatican of the Arab and Muslim world, use their narrative. They are saying that these are jihadists, these are Salafists, but the administration is the only one. France, Italy, Britain, Russia, China, the 4 other members of the Security Council are using the right narrative. Only the Obama administration is not.
As the president explained yesterday, what he believes and what he said is that that's a recruiting tool for the terrorists. That's a recruiting tool for ISIS, whether it's in Australia or England or France or in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so do not say that, because that will drive more numbers to their side. Is that true or not?
No. The individuals who are indoctrinated and become terrorists do not listen to the statements made by the White House, State Department, and National Security Council. They listen to those who are indoctrinating them. So there is no direct link between our narrative, which basically is not geared at the terrorists, but at civil societies, telling them, look, you are not responsible. These are the jihadists, and you are the moderates. The administration is afraid of doing this because it doesn't have an alternative advice. They're getting all their advice from one academic elite. I would have recommended for the White House to have a conference where they have more than one opinion. Not just the only opinion they've heard.
Waleed, I'm out of time. We'll talk again real soon, okay? Waleed Phares with us out of Washington today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right.